everyone. Welcome. Hope you've had a great weekend. We have a big program ahead. Tiger coach Barry Odom is with me for a good visit. We cover a lot of topics with his football team as they're making their way through spring football. That's just a few minutes away, but the Cardinals began this season really with a big series. Sure, they play 162 games, but they started with the Milwaukee Brewers, who figured to be right in the thick of things in that National League Central race, again with the Cards and maybe the Cubs as well. Well, reigning most valuable player, Christian Yelich, had a huge series for the Brewers. There he is. And here he is batting right away against the Cards, Michael Wacha. And this is a home run for Yelich. He has homered in each of the first 4 games this season. Only 5 other players in history have done that. We'd hear more from Yelich later in this game. Cards up, though, 3-1 at this point when Goldie, Paul Goldschmidt, hits his 4th home run of the season. Remember, he had 3 homers in Game 2 and then a 4th today, whereas Yelich had homers in each of the first 4. That's the difference, but they're 2-star sluggers. Cards up 4-3 in the bottom of the 9th. 2 on for the Brewers, and Yelich comes through again. This is a double to the gap in left center. 1 run tied it, then Lorenzo Cain slides home safely to win it. The Brewers win a thriller 5-4, take 3 of 4 from the Cards, who are on their way to Pittsburgh to play the Pirates tomorrow. We've just had the lowest scoring Super Bowl in history. Hard to believe in this day and age, but it's true. Find out who prevailed in Super Bowl 53 in Atlanta. The Rally for Ryan game, much more than just a basketball game. We'll tell you how Ryan Luce message hits home for the Tiger players, and a local coach earns an award for his work in the weight room. All this and more coming up on Sports Extra with Chris Gervino. Super Bowl 53 in Atlanta featured the New England Patriots and Los Angeles Rams, a rematch of Super Bowl 36 in New Orleans when the Pats beat the then St. Louis Rams. For Missourians, this might have been the nightmare Super Bowl matchup, huh? After all, the Pats beat the Kansas City Chiefs in the AFC Championship game, and after all, Rams owner Stan Kroenke moved the team out of St. Louis and back to the West Coast. Nonetheless, the game went on without a lot of points. Only Super Bowl ever with no touchdowns through 3 quarters. What? True. 3-3 into the 4th, and Tom Brady finds Gronk. Rob Gronkowski is reliable tight end on a long pass to the 2-yard line, and that would set up the only touchdown of the game. Sony Michel, the former Georgia Bulldog, scores 10-3 New England. The Rams tried to rally late. Jared Goff, their quarterback, throws down the right sideline, and he's intercepted by Stephon Gilmore. New England had the ball back, marched downfield again, wouldn't get a touchdown, but got the all-important clinching field goal. Stephen Gostkowski, 41-yarder, with just more than a minute to play, and the New England Patriots win the lowest scoring Super Bowl ever, 13-3. Brady and Belichick get their 6th Super Bowl title. Julian Edelman wins MVP honors with 10 catches for 141 yards.
It just matters that we won, man. It was a crazy year. We had a resilient bunch of guys. It was unreal, man.
What a game, and just so proud of our team. I mean, the support here tonight was like a home game. We could have been at Gillette Stadium. And
it's all about the players. These guys worked so hard all year. They just competed every week, and they competed today like champions. They played like champions.
The NCAA on Thursday released results of its multi-year investigation into alleged academic fraud within the University of Missouri Athletic Department. The NCAA says a former tutor known to be Yolanda Coomer completed assignments, quizzes, and exams for 12 Tiger athletes. Investigators say she completed an entire course for 1 student athlete and parts of a placement exam for 2 student athletes. The punishment handed down by the NCAA on Mizzou athletics for academic fraud include a postseason ban for the football program for the upcoming 2019 season this fall, a postseason ban for the baseball and softball teams with their seasons that start in the next 2 weeks. Softball starts this coming Friday, baseball next week, and a 5% reduction in the amount of scholarships for football, baseball, and softball programs during the 2019-20 academic year, as well as recruiting restrictions for those 3 programs. Also, Mizzou will have to vacate records aided by the 12 student athletes. Missouri on 3 years probation. Tiger Athletic Director Jim Sturck says Missouri will appeal, and Mizzou will win its appeal.
Move swiftly quickly and cooperated with the NCAA. So I certainly don't think that these penalties are reflective of what we expected for self-reporting. I believe in doing things the right way, and we're going to continue to do things the right way. It'll be months, not weeks. So I don't know, and I just can't guess on that timeline.
Stirk did say, though, it could be 6 months before the appeal is answered. Missouri football coach Barry Odom shared his thoughts on the punishment Friday, challenging the ruling, and he was confident about Missouri's appeal. On the field, he sounds resilient despite these NCAA rulings.
It'd be a heck of a year for the Missouri football Tigers, and I can't wait to lead this group into it. And I look forward to whatever role that I've got in the appeal process. I'm going to go knock it out of the park.
Of course, the quarterback, Kelly Bryant, all the buzz. Your initial thoughts about him now that he's a Missouri Tiger and you've had him in practice?
Yeah, the things that we will see on game day on Saturday that Kelly does. He's got a unique skill set, very, very talented player. Maybe as much or more than that are the things that he does in the locker room, the infectious personality that he has, the way that he carries himself, such a mature young man. That's on a mission to play really well, but also be a leader of this team, and also as important as any of it is just to be one of the guys.
You get hit by that NCAA penalty, and how have you addressed that? And obviously, I don't think we're going to know if the appeal's settled and football season gets underway. It might happen in the middle of the darn season.
You look at
the
thing. I was listening to a sermon today, and you're in life. You're dealt your hand of cards.
Sure you are.
Right. And what are you going to do with it? And the approach that we've taken after the initial shock.
And it was shock, wasn't it?
And surprising and shocking. You look at the severity of the sanctions that were handed down at that point. Really, everyone was surprised. And so, anyway, after you digest that, and then you inform our student athletes of what all that means at this point, and then you dust yourself off a little bit and say, let's get going, because any wasted time on that right now does absolutely zero for what we need to go accomplish. And you look at the job that Coach Beezer and Larissa Anderson are doing right now in baseball and softball. They're on a heck of a run, and so it's not affecting their teams. It's not affecting our guys, other than they know that it's out there. I do look at the response that Mizzou has had and the great leadership that we have shown, starting with Moon Choi and Dr. Cartwright, and then Jim Stirk, John Sunvolt, all the things collectively that they have done, and then with the legal team that we've hired on putting together the appeal, got the appeal filed, and then now the NCAA has a number of days to respond to that, and then we've got a number of days to respond to that, and then eventually we'll get it worked out. But I look at the infractions committee, the way that the penalties read at this point. If those stand, then really that is not going to serve well for the future of intercollegiate athletics, in my opinion. So we'll see how it goes. I do feel strongly about the closeness of our team and the way that they have responded. They've done absolutely everything that I've asked and put in front of them. They've done it with great togetherness, with great spirit. And whenever we find out what is going to stay and what's not, then that's going to be just another thing that we deal with. And if you've recruited the right kids and you build relationships the right way, and your locker room is set the way that ours is right now, then you can have open and honest conversations like we've been able to do through this. And I've got great trust in our team and our coaches that we're going to handle this exactly the way that we're supposed to.
Softball doubleheader this afternoon after Saturday's series opener was postponed. The Tigers had been hot, winning their last 2 SEC series. Beautiful day, but rather chilly for softball. 2 games for Larissa Anderson's Tigers. These are game 1 highlights. Second inning, Brooke Wilmus, infield base hit. Runner scores from third. Tigers on top, 4-0. Later, it's 4-1, and we have a Wirt alert. Kimberly Wirt does it again. Another home run her 11th of the year to lead the team. Tigers win 5-4 behind the pride of Tipton, Maddie Norman, who got the win. In the nightcap, though, Tennessee earned a split, winning 2-1. Tigers got a solo home run from Hattie Moore, but other than that, not much offense at all. So the deciding game of this three-game set, Tigers and Vols, tomorrow night at 6. The Mizzou baseball team finished up at Texas A&M with a tie against the 11th-ranked Aggies. It was called after 10 innings due to travel restrictions for Mizzou on getaway day. It's the first Tiger tie in 15 years, so they get a win, a loss, and a tie this weekend. TJ Sycamore, 7 strong innings for the Tigers, allowed 2 runs, but both were unearned. Chris Cornelius, a pair of hits, 13 multi-hit games, the most of any Tiger this season. Tigers host the Billikens Tuesday at 6. 2 SEC teams, Auburn and Kentucky, met today for a spot in the Final Four. Kentucky, a perennial power. Auburn, the team that ended Missouri's season at the SEC tournament 2 weeks ago. Auburn attempting to make its first Final Four. Kentucky topped the Auburn Tigers in 2 regular season meetings this year, winning the most recent contest by 27 points. Sprint Center in Kansas City, the site, and Auburn playing for Chuma Okeke, who tore his ACL against North Carolina Friday, unable to play today. And P.J. Washington for Kentucky, back from injury and just outstanding today. 28 points, 13 rebounds for Auburn. Really tough team. Of course, Jared Harper, the little guy, 5'11", hit the long 3. And this was some game back and forth. Keldon Johnson throws it down there. 1-point ball game. Later, it's Reed Travis down low, scores in the foul. Kentucky down 1. Under a minute to go. Look at Harper drive to the goal to tie it up. And this one heads to overtime. And Harper, again, just really taking over down the stretch. Scores. He had 26 points. Auburn wins 77-71, advancing to its first Final Four. Zion Williamson and Duke battling Michigan State. First half, Duke down by 7 points. Williamson powers past the defender to slam it home. Later, Duke with a 2-point lead when Michigan State's Cassius Winston sinks the jump shot. Ball game tied at 30. Late second half, Duke up 1. And Zion in attack mode again. He'll drive and score. And the Duke Blue Devils led by 3. Michigan State answers the Winston the lob to Xavier Tillman. It's a 1-point ball game. And later, the Spartans take the lead. Kenny Goins for the triple. Michigan State up 2. Finally, Michigan State up by a point. Had to get the ball in bounds to avoid trouble, and the Spartans did just that. They head to the Final Four in Minneapolis, ending Duke's season 68-67. And so the Final Four is set. 4 of the 5 power conferences are represented. Auburn from the SEC will play in the early game Saturday against Virginia, the only #1 seed left. And the Cavaliers, of course, from the ACC. Texas Tech of the Big 12 makes its first Final Four against Michigan State of the Big 10. That's the second game in the national semifinals Saturday in Minneapolis. Welcome back. Time to answer tonight's sports trivia. We asked earlier, what number did our guest Barry Odom, the Missouri football coach, wear when he played for the Tigers? Did you know? Here comes the answer. He was a linebacker, wore number 39. Interestingly enough, he was 39 years old when he got the Missouri head football coaching job. Folks, that is our time for tonight. Thank you very much for watching. Cam Redler, Ethan Illers, our producers, and Jade Simonson's the director. I'm Chris Gervino. See you back here tomorrow night. So long, everybody.